Welcome to Collaborative Conversations in Wellness. I'm your host, Kendra Raymond, wellness coach, intuitive healer, and founder of Me Time Healing and Wellness. In this series, I'll be discussing multiple modalities of alternative and traditional therapy with some of my most trusted wellness partners. Our hope is that these conversations will educate you and introduce you to the vast array of practices that are available for you to find your personal balance. We wish you all the best in wellness and hope that you enjoy this series as much as we have enjoyed creating it for you. All the best in wellness. Hello and welcome to Collaborative Conversations in Wellness. I'm your host, Kendra Raymond, and today we will be discussing regression therapy and the benefits of quantum hypnosis healing technique. And I have my guest, Debbie McCarthy, here with me. Debbie, thank you so much for joining me. It's really a pleasure to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
And by formal way of introduction, so I don't get this wrong, I am going to be looking down at paper. So Debbie is a longtime friend, healer of mine. We are collaborators in this big world of hoping to get people closer to their balance. You might recognize her name, her voice from her podcast that she runs with her husband, Dave. That is Welcoming Wellness and Wisdom. And I have had the pleasure of being featured twice with you. So thank you for that as well. So Debbie is a holistic health and life coach, healer, and regression therapist. She is a certified holistic health practitioner trained through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and is a certified holistic life coach as well. Her unique approach utilizes a combination of hypnotherapy, Reiki healing, and gentle coaching to get to the root of many underlying life and health-related issues. Debbie works with her clients to make holistic shifts to diet and lifestyle and intuitively guides her clients to let go of limiting beliefs and old habits in order to support their overall well-being. She brings a fresh perspective to her practice from her background in engineering and is a proponent of food, movement, and self-care as medicine, serving as your accountability partner for lasting and sustainable change. And I think that's why Debbie and I just very much connect. Our life philosophies are very similar. She has two boys similar in age to my children, and in her free time, she loves to hike and ski and spend plenty of time out in nature with her family. So I'm thrilled to have you here to talk about regression therapy and really specifically how the hypnosis healing technique that you do helps get people deeper. So let me ask you, could you just give people a brief understanding of what this practice of regression therapy and this QHHT, the quantum hypnosis healing technique, is about? Just kind of like an overview.
Sure. So QHHT is a method of hypnosis that was created by Dolores Cannon. Now, Dolores had worked for 50 years as a regression hypnotherapist, working with thousands of people all over the world. And as you mentioned, some people might better understand the term past life regression.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how QHHT got started, with the exploration of past lives.
Wow.
However, today, with the expansion of our human consciousness, more than just past lives are available to experience, as you well know.
Yeah. Don't tell
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But under hypnosis, some people go into future lives. They stay in their own current life, but maybe go back to early childhood or adolescence. Mm-hmm. Some people go to other planets, which is really quite interesting, or even other dimensions. And some people even visit the spirit side. I had a client go and she was a guardian angel. It was beautiful. Yeah. So the work ultimately brings you into what we call the theta state, which is a relaxed meditative state just before sleep.
Yes.
And it brings you into your higher self, right? Our subconscious mind. Many of us have trouble getting to our subconscious mind, right? I mean, you can if you're a good meditator, which I'm sure you are.
Well, I found, Debbie, that even through yoga, a lot of people kind of get there in Shavasana because they've had 60 to 90 minutes to work out the yayas.
Yes.
Which honestly, the only way that I came to meditation is on my yoga mat. And then I'm like, oh, I got to get here more often. And that's that state of mind. So the
Yes.
theta state is key.
Yes. And the great part about when you're in your subconscious mind, as we know, it's been with us for all of eternity.
Right.
So it answers your questions and does the healing and clearing work. And it tells you the absolute truth, whether you want to hear it or not. So
Indeed.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what sets QHHT apart from other past life regression methods, is the fact that you're tapping into your higher self. And
Okay.
and a lot of people, like I'm sure you felt, like you were, it was validating and very
Yes.
peace provoking.
Yes.
And yeah, and I think that's the beautiful aspect of it. And what's great is that it focuses on the concept that you will go to the most appropriate time and place to address any requests for healing or information.
Yes. So I recently had the pleasure of working with Debbie for one of these sessions, and she'll get into a little bit about how those sessions work in a minute. But I'm, for anybody who knows me, super type A, like control freak to the nth degree. But I have been working, I mean, I got on my yoga mat almost 30 years ago at this point, but I've been working really very specifically for about 5 years to kind of let go of some of the things that create my own struggling. As I said in my first episode, there's plenty of struggling just by being human and experiencing the life that we experience. So I've been working to decrease my own suffering. And in doing so, I went to Debbie to kind of do that final clear that I knew needed to happen. And boy, it got me very relaxed. I actually didn't think I thought meditating, I would be kind of out of it. I was just chilling out and talking. So when I left, I was like, I don't think I was hypnotized until I listened to the recording and I went, oh, it's all so clear to me now why I respond in ways that I do and how I can make shifts and changes daily that will just, maybe make my interactions with other people and myself a little bit easier each day. For example, I have adult children now. They don't need me to control every aspect of their lives. And it's time for me to step back and to be okay with stepping back and allow the anxiety to release around letting go of control. And I have very much felt that shift in a time when I needed it, when my son got unexpectedly sick. And as an adult, I had to step away from his hospitalization for long periods of time, simply because of the fact that he's not a child and doesn't need me there anymore. And I'm telling you, if I hadn't had that session, I think it would have been a bit more of a struggle mentally and emotionally for me to be able to step away from that control and give myself what I needed so that when I could step back in, I was doing what was best for all concerned, not just protecting my anxiety and my need to control. Yeah. So it was intense in beautiful, beautiful ways. I need to make sure people understand that this isn't you're not going to find out things about yourself that you don't already know. Yeah. You're going to find out maybe why they exist and how you can work with them rather than against them.
Right. And the great thing is that you get a recording of the entire session. So while most people will remember what they're saying, you almost, like you said, you almost felt like you were awake. I know that when I've been put under with QHHT, I really felt like, I think I'm not hypnotized. Like, I feel like I'm awake. But then when you listen to the recording and you're like, I don't believe that was coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So you're in your subconscious.
Yes.
That's the powerful aspect. Yeah.
I actually, being a control freak, I legitimately cried all the way home because I'm like, I don't even think I can let go of enough control to be hypnotized. I don't think I was. And then, as you said, I listened to that recording and I went, oh no, I remember this part, but the specifics of what I was saying were just what I find when I go into my higher self is there's so much compassion for the things that I beat myself up about.
Mhm.
And that's the difference in listening to the recording. While I remember that portion, hearing my subconscious say those things, it was different than my self-talk. My self-talk can be pretty negative and harsh.
Of course.
And it was like, oh, that lives in me. Let's get there more often.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you let go of
Yeah.
a lot of deep things.
Yes. So
And
you had
that's the
mentioned
beauty of this. It's like,
yes. You had mentioned that, you might go to past lives, you might go to future lives, you may go to parts of your current life. And what I was trying to heal, I have disordered eating in my past, and I'm done. I'm done with all of the things, the control, the expectations. I'm done with all of it. I want to get rid of those last pieces. And I did. I visited the parts of my life that triggered those pieces of this lifetime. And I recognize that I can let them go now.
yes.
So,
Yes.
not only deep healing and understanding of myself, but there are so many more benefits. And if you could kind of get into what some of the other benefits of this practice
Of
are, because they're
course.
deep and profound.
Yes. Yes. And like you said, healing on a very deep subconscious level is really one of the key benefits. And by accessing your subconscious mind, you can tap into past experiences and memories that may
Yes,
be contributing to physical and emotional issues right now in your life.
absolutely.
And so by tapping into those and identifying them, addressing them, processing them, letting them go,
Yes.
that's where the healing occurs on a very deep level.
Yes. And I use the term often with many of my clients. What we're trying to either avoid or assist in is avoiding the issues coming into the tissues. When our emotional and mental issues become so heavy and so dense and we're not addressing them, they will start to live inside our body as digestive dysfunction. For me, I was dealing with cystic breast tissue that was triggering some cancer scares. And it really all comes back to my relationship with my body. And over the years, allowing that control and that anxiety to live kind of in my heart area, and the issues started to come into the tissues. So we're trying to avoid that for some folks. And if the issues exist, let's get to the root of them now so that we can be our own best advocate to continue that healing in conjunction with our, traditional medical professionals. But this brings you information that those scientists can't bring to you.
Yes, yes. And with you, you resolved a past trauma.
Yes.
Which in many cases ends up going right into your body in a physical way, just like you said, or an emotional way, mentally,
or both.
Or both. And so by resolving that and bringing you back to the time where you first experienced it and allowed you to let it go and process it and understand why it happened, God, that's when the deep healing and emotional freedom comes in. So
and
that's the other biggie.
I mentioned to my husband, because I had listened to the recording and then I popped in the shower and I just kind of closed my eyes, and it was kind of like a beautiful mind. I closed my eyes to rinse my hair, and it was I relived the whole hypnosis session in the course of like a 10-second span, and it was like a brrr. I saw it all. I understood exactly why I went to those memories and those experiences. I understand why they triggered either a fear or a desire to control. I totally got it. And I went, okay, let's have compassion for that younger self and tell her that's not where she needs to be anymore. That's huge. And then I slept better than I have slept in legitimately months. And I'm somebody who I practice meditation and yoga regularly. And Debbie, my circadian rhythm has been reset. I'm like able to get up without being groggy. Last couple of days have been a little bit tricky just because of my son's situation, but tremendous change in a lot of things, and in my healing, in the work that I have been doing. There's so much more trust because that control part has been releasing consistently since I saw you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. And the other beauty of this is that while you're under I ask your subconscious mind to do a full body scan of your body from head
Yep.
to toe.
Yep.
And it's amazing. Like, when you're in your subconscious mind, you're talking in the third person. So, Kendra, I am going to work on healing Kendra, something going on in Kendra's head. Just give me a few moments. Like,
Yeah.
and you just, so there could be some ailments that you don't even know are happening, right? And there's others, of course, when you were talking about your breast, right?
Right.
But it's powerful that it just goes down and it does healing of things you may not know.
Arthritic, and for a while I've been like, why? I'm right-handed, so I wouldn't expect to feel arthritic in joints on my left side, but I am, and that came up. And as I have shifted my diet so that I don't have like massive arthritis issues because I'm not addressing it, I'm noticing that there's like a little less stiffness, there's a little less puffiness in the morning. I can get my rings on and off in the morning again.
Yay.
I know. So it really, it was just the light bulb went off. And it creates so much compassion for why you walk through the world as you do and how you can shine that light a little bit brighter.
Totally. And like you said, your connection to your higher self brings you a ton more, if you don't already have it, spiritual growth.
Yes.
Insight, guidance, and support on your spiritual journey. So that's another biggie. And of course, I think you experience this as well. Stress reduction and relaxation, because you are you're in the state just before sleep. You're laying flat on a bed with a pillow and some cozy blankets. Like, it's really deeply relaxing. So it brings you a sense of calm. Yeah.
Can you kind of explain how a session does work? Because having experienced it, it was delightful and cozy, but we've talked a bit about it. Can you explain kind of like from start to finish what someone might experience?
Sure. So a typical session can run 3 to 4 hours, depending upon the number of questions and issues that you might want to get addressed.
Right.
So before the session, I'll send you a list of questions to consider. So questions like, who are the important people in your life? And which ones are you interested in knowing if you've had a past life with? Right? Do you have any health issues you're curious about and want healed? What's the main reason you're coming? That's really the key. I also ask you to consider questions for your higher self. So after I've taken you to past life, then I ask your higher self if I can ask questions on your behalf. And I ask you to think big. Anything you've ever wanted to know. Nothing is off the table, right? The great thing is that a lot of people get tremendous amount of clarity. Like, the most popular question is, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth? Am I living my life purpose? Or if not, what should it be? That's a powerful answer when you get that from your higher self, because it's the absolute truth. So we do that before the session. I get all of your questions that you want to get addressed. And then once you come to me, we have about a 30-minute to 45-minute discussion about these questions and your life. So I like to kind of dig a little deep into your childhood, any things that have happened in your childhood that might have been traumatic, things that questions that you want to gather about your higher self. And so I do a little interview for like 30 to 45 minutes, just so that I can be a better guide and we can kind of get to know each other a little better, of course. The next comes the actual induction, where I put you under. That can go 20 to 30 minutes, depending upon the person. And I'm really just the facilitator who takes you safely and gently into this theta state.
It really, and I just speaking from experience, it is really quite lovely. And for people who are like, I don't know that I'll be able to get there because I don't know how to meditate, you don't even have to worry about that. Debbie's teaching you as you go. So it's all good.
Yeah. And what's great is that I will take you to 1, 2, or 3 past lives, depending upon how deep we go and how many questions that you have. Or sometimes, like I said, you might just go into your current life, early childhood, adolescence, that's, with the things that you need to process. And it's not random. You will experience being in a life that it's your higher self's way of teaching you. So you will go to the most appropriate time and place. So while you're under, I monitor your breathing as well as your eye movements beneath your eyelids. That's how I can tell whether you're under. I watch your
Okay.
eyelids and those movements. So you are always safe. I'm sitting right by the bed. And I make certain that you're not going to experiencing anything too emotional.
Yeah.
So I tell you, you can choose to observe this as a movie instead of experiencing it physically.
Right.
So you can look down on the life that you're looking at and watch it as a movie.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, in this conversation that we're having with your higher self, you will get your answers and your healing.
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, I do a whole body, I have your higher self do a whole body scan on you before I wrap things up. And usually the hypnosis, I don't like to go anywhere over 2 hours. So it's like 2 hours or less.
Yeah.
So you don't wake up too groggy. And I digitally record the whole session. So you will get access to that right afterwards, with the exception of the induction. So in case you were listening to it, you don't put yourself back under.
Right.
So I start recording right after that. But
Yeah.
And then after that, we just have a quick 30-minute or 30-minute discussion on like what you remembered about the
Yeah.
session, and I kind of fill in the blanks, and I make sure you are fully awake and functioning before I send you home.
Yeah.
Okay?
And so
Yeah.
Debbie will tell you this too, when you do a session with her, bring some snacks. I highly recommend like maybe almonds or almonds and dark chocolate, only because both are very grounding. A banana will work. Just kind
something
of
with a
get
little
your blood
sugar, because it wakes you up.
Yeah, a little blood sugar boost, and also something that, so like a banana is a great option because it's natural sugar, but it also is a grounding food.
Yes.
So you do this in your office in Tingsboro.
Yes.
At what is called the Beehive. So that's, could you refresh my memory on the address, please?
Yes, sure. It's 2 Bridgeview Circle, and I have a suite there, Suite 7 in Tingsboro. Real easy to get to, right off the highway.
And it's adorable. And the space is just, the moment you walk into that, there could be construction and fire going on outside. And the minute you walk into your space, you're like, oh, I'm good. And you do mention, I actually recall you mentioning this as you were taking me under. It was something, if you hear any noises, they're just noises. Like you don't have to pay. And I don't even think I heard anything, but if I did, it was background noise at that. It was just white noise at that point.
Yes. And I have like a little like mini fridge in my office that I keep like water and like some snacks and stuff in. And one of my clients that I put under was like, don't turn that off, because I thought, oh, maybe that will disturb her. She goes, it's like white noise. It's like it's like meditation, like a meditative I'm like, okay. So now I've just been like leaving it on, because then you don't hear anything else. You know, it's just a little
I was gonna do I recently got a fountain, and I was going to do the same thing, but I'm like, I think a fountain might make people, feel the urge to go to the bathroom. So I put that in my office instead, and I just keep like a little white noise machine on. So this is obviously a vast topic. This is something where people really do have to intend for that. I think intention setting is, you and I have talked about this. It's so important to actually creating that change for yourself. This is a commitment to yourself and the betterment of your future and the future of your life as a whole. It will just improve the way that you walk through the world and what you tolerate in the world, and what your purpose is to kind of change what you might tolerate. My purpose has changed over the years. And as we come closer to who we're meant to be, we just step closer and closer to our purpose. So I'm just a huge advocate of the work that you do and the way in which you do it. You have a beautiful way about you, and I love that you have your new space. So if you were to give us one key takeaway of this very vast healing modality, what would it be?
Yeah, and you touched upon it, is that setting the intention to coming into this is a very key aspect, as well as approaching QHHT with an open mind and willingness to explore and delve into your inner self, because that is truly where the profound healing and transformation takes place. You've got to go in with an open mind, because that's the biggie. And like I said, this is a holistic approach to healing, that you are actually healing yourself through your higher self. I'm just a conduit. I'm just there to ask the right questions. I'm just there to keep the process moving. But you are truly healing yourself, mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
With this
And
habit.
I feel like that's so empowering. So if you're just starting into your healing journey and you kind of don't know where to begin, a gentle Reiki session just to understand what the state of parasympathetic nervous system is. So few people get there ever. You know, so if this is overwhelming for you, Debbie also practices Reiki out of her office, and that relationship could get you to a point where, you know, in like 2 sessions, you go, okay, I understand, I feel safe, I'm ready. But it is very key to set your intention appropriately. And I think it doesn't matter where you are in your healing journey. If you go in with an open mind and an open heart and a willingness to shift and change in all the ways that are for your highest good and those around you, you're bound to have success with this. It's just safe and gentle and beautiful. So I'm so thankful, A, that I got to experience it, and B, that you had the time and the willingness and availability to come and talk to me about it today, because I think it just has the potential to work wonders for so many people. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
And
Wonderful.
you have shared some resource links that I'm going to share in the notes. You've shared Dolores Cannon's site, how to book with you for a session or a consult. And then she's also offering, folks, I just want you to pay attention to this, because there is a promotional rate going on with Debbie right now for the types of sessions that we just talked about. They're $111, which is a significant bargain for a 3.5 to 4 hour session that will absolutely change your life in one, if not multiple ways. So $111 for a 4-hour session through the end of this month. So through April 30th, take advantage, because we're in like crazy times right now, even just energetically speaking. Now's the time to take advantage. So I'm going to share all of Debbie's contact information, all of these links, and the special offers. And I just thank you so much for being here, Debbie. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
With you.
You as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I look forward to speaking with you on our next session. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope that you learned something new to guide you on your wellness journey, and look forward to having you back for future episodes in the series. All the best in wellness.